Fantastic that we've got this COVAX mechanism being rolled out in Côte d'Ivoire, 500,000 of the first jabs being dispensed. The aim is to get 92 of the poorest countries, if you like, get the most vulnerable people in those countries vaccinated by June. We've secured 1 billion doses for that endeavour, and that's because we see a leading role for the UK and the international community as a force for good. But also we recognise that none of us are safe until we're all safe. It's doable, but we've got to galvanise the effort, the will, the logistics on the ground, which is why this first rollout, a mass rollout in Côte d'Ivoire, on top of the other initial rollouts in Ghana and other countries that we've seen, is so important. But we now need to push to make sure that we realise that ambition.
Would you call on other countries to do as much as Britain or more?
Oh, absolutely. I think actually the Germans have been big contributors to COVAX, but we need this to be a whole team effort. And that's why we've been using our G7 presidency, not just to say, hey, look at what we're doing, but to bring other countries together. We know that we'll only get a grip on this virus when every country is safe, and particularly the most vulnerable countries, which is why what's happening in Côte d'Ivoire is so important.
And what would your message be to countries in Africa or elsewhere who might think, well, we don't want to wait for COVAX, so we'll just go to Russia and China, they're offering us their vaccines? Well,
I think you've got to look very carefully at the scientific advice on which is the safest vaccines, the WHO advice as well. We understand the conundrum that they may feel, which is why we want to push not just on our domestic surplus capacity, but on the COVAX mechanism, which is the gold standard of international support for the most vulnerable countries around the world. And I think they ought to be ambitious to have their people vaccinated according to that gold standard.